What time is it? Let me check my watch. Oh, it's bone o'clock. In olden days, a glimpse of femur was only for morbid dreamers, but you're not alone. Bring anything bones. Two goofy gals with deathly interest go on a skeleton inquest in your headphones. Anything bones.
Hello and welcome to Anything Bones. Who am I? I'm Katelyn Hart.
And this one's Sophie Schwartz. This is the show where we talk about bones and bone-related topics.
And today we have a special guest. We have Seattle comedian, general comedian, not an improviser, Chris Yoon.
I've done improv. I've taught improv. I used to run a 101 class.
At Jet City?
Yeah, Jet City. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So speaking of bones, I've run a workshop, a improv workshop at the Juvenile Arthritis Foundation. So
Wow.
bone thing.
That is a
Yeah.
bone thing.
Very bone related. Ouch.
Ouch, right? I just remember doing like improv, like pretty physical, and like with kids, like you expect them to be like have like big energy. And I just remember like doing a workshop, like a kind of a Duck Duck Goose-ish improv exercise. And one of the girls came up to me and said, "Can we sit down?
Oh.
God, these kids have arthritis."
Yes.
I forgot.
Oh, gotta stick to general comedy.
Oh my God. The kids are like, you don't understand. Remember why you're here. We are children with arthritis.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're not accepting the premise. This is an improv workshop, so just yes and me here for a second. Yes and me and run around. But yes, thank you for inviting me here. Big bone fan, big anything bones, bonehead. What do you guys call your fans?
Yeah, boneheads.
Boneheads? Yeah, shout out to all the boneheads out there. Bone dads,
Whoop, whoop.
bone mommies.
Yeah,
Bone
that's
gang.
right.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. I also wanted to just like quickly shout out that Chris and I used to be neighbors, and that was a really special time.
Yeah, I live with Katelyn.
In the room your roommate was in the room directly below.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Oh, that's so funny.
don't the two of you also share a combined television-related passion?
Why, yes. That would be the Bachelor/Bachelorette franchise. Thank you.
Yeah, I and Christine, my roommate, used to host Bachelor. No, that's unfair. That's so unfair. We both hosted Bachelor watch parties.
We would go back and forth because we were neighbors, so it was very easy to do.
One time, y'all, like our balcony's below yours too. That's how apartments work. And I remember one time just sitting in my living room watching a rose be like lowered balcony, and I could see it just lowering down. I'm not sure I think there was like a heart balloon too, and y'all just like wrote like a little letter that said, "Will you accept this rose as an invitation?" And I was like, these are good times. These are the times.
Aww.
This is when I realized this is what I want to remember about apartment living, is all the possibilities of things that can go in between balconies.
Yeah, it's weird. I was also invited to this podcast with like a bone thrown through my window.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We don't accept the charges for damages.
Yeah.
It was a bone move.
But you can keep the bone.
Thank you.
And if anyone asks you where you got it,
oh yeah, murder them and collect more bones.
exactly.
Can I also say, and I don't know when we need to get into the meat of the episode, but
Yeah.
I also love your theme song.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a big fan of local Seattle podcast theme songs. Another good one is Here's What You Don't Do. Shout out to Sam Domboski. They have a great theme song. Your theme song, I have a question about. So I wrote down the lyrics and I think I got them wrong. But
Okay.
just read them out for the listeners, for the boneheads out there who are curious like me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, especially if you think you got it wrong, maybe other people think they're getting it wrong. So please.
Right? I am other people. Or I was other people. Here we go. It's like an anything goes riff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll try the voice. In olden days, a glimpse of femur
Yep.
only for morbid dreamers. For Jordan alone?
But you're yeah.
I'm not Jordan. I don't know who Jordan is, but maybe he was a guest on the podcast or the writer of the song.
Okay.
Bring anything bones. Second verse.
Mm-hmm.
Alcoda here. Two goofy gals with deathly interest go on us to look at inquest in your headphones. Anything bones. And then CBCA BGA on the keyboard. My best guess. And then your intro. And that's the song.
Pretty good, except for Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I wrote the parody lyrics and Nick Kruger did the music and Stephen Betteroff of Maple Daddies, also Maple Daddies, sings the song. And the lyrics, what? Who's Jordan?
Sorry,
I mean, Molar Eskenazi, I don't know. But it's in olden days, a glimpse of femur was only for morbid dreamers, but you're not alone.
Okay.
Bring anything bones. Two goofy gals with deathly interest go on a skeleton inquest in your headphones.
That makes more
I love Goanna.
Goannas.
So-
Isn't that like a club or something? The
No, I think
Goannas?
it's something
or
bad.
canal.
Gowan to me is the neighborhood I lived in Brooklyn, which is like Brooklyn, and I was like, that's so specific. I don't know what related topics Gowannas has. Like maybe Sophie has some buried bones in Gowannas.
You don't know.
Yeah, so in deathly interest, skeleton. Sorry, what was it? With deathly interest.
Go on a skeleton inquest.
Got it. So good. So good. You're welcome, boneheads out there. I'm glad.
Thank you for the clarity. God.
Yes.
Oh my God, the Reddit forums are going to be so happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It might spark more debate. You never know. The boneheads, they're
surly.
All the boneheads named Jordan are going to be like, fuck, I thought this song was just for me. And now what's your podcast about and why am I listening?
Well,
Should I get into it?
yes, please. Our
Okay.
podcast is about bones.
And clarity. So I like that.
We try to have clarity.
Sometimes. Okay. So part of my topic was suggested by a listener, which is so fun.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andy Weisler, who is our friend from a while ago from college, who sent me an article, and now I'm going to tell you about it. So Andy sent me an article from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, and I'm going to tell you about whale falls.
Yay.
So what's a whale fall? I didn't know until I read this. Basically, a whale fall is a dead whale in the ocean that falls to the bottom of the ocean. Get it?
I mean, yeah, it's named pretty appropriately, as we always say on Anything Bones. Call it what it is.
Yeah, whale fall. Oh, look, a whale is falling. So I'm going to call it a whale fall.
It's hard to determine if a whale is falling versus a whale just swimming downward. Is there
I think in order for it to be a whale fall, the whale needs to be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Katelyn, you can see by sight, you can tell when a whale is dead.
Yeah. I don't need to get in there with my veterinary tools. I can just kind of tell, like, oh yeah, that whale is 3 seconds away from being a whale fall.
It has X's over its eyes.
Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah, seconds before it's just a twirly eye thing, and then it's over. Whales are Pokemon, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Whale fall, boy.
Okay, so normally if you're in the deep ocean waters, a lot of the animals and bacteria and all that shit down there, they feed off what is known as marine snow. But if one whale fall can deliver, quote, as much organic material as several thousand years worth of marine snow.
Oh, that's a bigger number than I expected.
Wow.
Yes. So I want to just point out that I used the article that Andy sent from the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute and Wikipedia, of course. Like, what else am I going to do? So there's a really interesting pattern in the development of the biological communities inside of a dead whale at the bottom of the ocean. So this is interesting. So if the whale is like malnourished, it's going to sink faster, I guess. So like a hungry whale is going to sink faster for some reason. But anyway, so as it's sinking, within days, scavengers like sleeper sharks, rat tails, which what the hell's that down there? I know what a rat tail is on hair, but what's a rat tail at the bottom of the ocean?
Also, did you say sleeper sharks?
That's what it says here. Sleeper sharks. Hagfish, which I take offense to. And amphipods. So they are the first on the scene, and they're going to dig in and get rid of the flesh. It's estimated that they can get 40 to 60 kilograms of flesh off per day. So the whale's going to be stripped to bone in a few months. Like it kind of, obviously it just varies, but it usually takes a few months. So whale falls are like best in the deep ocean because that's where you've got cold temperature and high hydrostatic pressures. In the coastal ocean, there's also a lot of predators, so that's going to hasten the decomposition. And then basically like some of the whales are going to float around because they've got these gases in their dead bodies, and then that might make them stay up in the water column higher, and then their lungs eventually are going to deflate, and then they're going to reach the sea floor. But when that happens, they might not even get, like the scavengers might not pick up on that, and then they'll get to the bottom of the ocean kind of unscathed. So within a year of the whale fall, the whale bones are what we see, and quote, nearby organically enriched sediment typically becomes infested with huge populations of worms and unusual crustaceans, as well as mollusks and other invertebrates. Many of these animals appear to be unique to deep sea whale falls, and many are new to science.
May I just pop in here with a fun fact about worms?
Yes.
I was gonna do a deep dive on a kind of worm that hangs out in these kind of whale falls called the bone-eating snot-flower worm.
Yum.
Which we've learned about through an episode of Bones.
The TV show, the Fox
show.
TV show.
The Fox TV show.
I know Bones. The angel, David Borealis. David Borealis.
Like the Aurora Borealis, but it's David.
He's a star if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. But about these worms. This worm, this bone-eating snotflower worm, was discovered in 2002. So super recent. And it like latches onto the bone with its little root tendrils, uses acid to like bore into the bone and then eat the like yummy like fats and lipids inside of the bone.
Wow, geez. I wish I could.
Gross.
I mean, I wish a human could do like a 10th of something as cool as that. You know, as like spit acid, shoot lasers, like just any kind of cool. Instead, we have like enzymes in our saliva that soften bread.
I mean, thumbs, my dude.
Thumbs.
That's our superpower, yeah.
Thumbs are pretty cool, and our use of tools.
Yeah.
Something earlier, like the whale body becomes a community after its death.
Yeah, with like brand new forms of life on it.
Oh, God, life.
Life after death, but like to this whole extreme that's just really interesting. Now we're kind of at the third stage of a whale fall, where basically all of the organic material has been consumed, but then we've got sulfur reducing bacteria which feed on the fats and oils deep within the whale bones. So we've sucked it dry, but not really. We're going to get some more stuff out of the bones. And this process releases hydrogen sulfide and then all of these sulfophilic sulfophilic whale fall community people are like loving it. Animals.
They are loving it.
Hey, whale.
You know what? I don't really know science, so I'm winging this. This is the coolest part. They have, and this is probably not an accurate number, but up to 190 different species of macroscopic bottom-dwelling animals have been found on a single whale skeleton, which just blows my mind.
Your numbers on this story are insane.
They are crazy. And there's at least one whale fall community that has been documented to last more than 50 years. Yeah. Yep. So other things that we see at the whale fall sites include giant isopods, squat lobsters, which what are those squat lobsters doing? A lot of squats or?
The lobster from fucking SpongeBob, the hella cut lobster.
Oh, yeah, Larry,
the squat lobster.
How do we transition a whale fall to like stop, like to provide housing in Seattle for people, you know? Like how do we get like a Seattle whale fall where we can provide like a community for 50 years?
Yeah. What's the parallel of a dead whale falling to the bottom of the ocean, but in Seattle?
We have to shoot Jeff Bezos with an arrow and let him fall to the bottom of the Space Needle.
Yeah, let's like blow up the Amazon balls.
Yes.
Right. So after the squat lobsters, there are, of course, tons of worms, which are also called polychaetes. I might be saying that wrong. Prawns, shrimp, Sophie's favorite, hagfish, which I said before, but I want to say it again. Crabs, sea cucumbers, and again, sleeper sharks. What are those things? Basically, 30 million years of fossils will back up this claim of whale falls being important since whales came into existence. Does that make sense? This has been going on for a really long time, is what I'm trying to say. Since whales evolved into their little slimy selves, there have been dead whales also. Scientists think that these whale falls occur like every 5 to 16 kilometers-ish. Put another way, they estimate that 690,000 skeletons are in one of the 4 stages of like the decomposition at any one time. So this is happening all over the place. So there are these specific communities in these whale falls just spotted all over the fucking ocean.
That's amazing. But also, I don't know, it makes me think about whales. I don't know if I'm 100% correct on this. A lot of species of whales are endangered or like their numbers are greatly decreased because there was a huge time of whaling in human history. So it just makes me think about all these dead whales. How many live whales are there?
Yeah, they did. People had to back off at a certain point because we were very close to killing off these whales. Of course, we know whale falls have been going on forever, basically, but they were first observed in the late 1970s, which happened along with the development of deep sea robotics. And now a lot of whale falls are monitored by scientists, and they use submersibles and remotely operated underwater vehicles, ROVs. It's really been helpful for scientists to like understand new species and all kinds of stuff. But I want to tell you one other story because while I think whale falls are fascinating, I need more. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of history from my home state of Oregon. Y'all ever heard of the exploding whale in Florence, Oregon in 1970?
No, this is the first.
Oh my God. Okay.
Floating. It sounds magical. Come now, come see. All. Sorry. Just.
No, like an extra. Read all about it. There's an exploding whale. No, now I can't say it either.
No one can make this joke. Extra. Read all about it. A whale has exploded.
Oh.
Okay. Sophie?
I have heard of the exploding whale, and I am very excited to hear the particulars because all I know about it is that a whale exploded.
I've wanted to do this story for a long time, but it didn't really, it's a short a shorty but a goodie. So I'm glad that I had the whale falls to pair it with. So I don't know if I knew this story because I was told it at school, or if I went to visit this place, Florence, Oregon, and found out about it there. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's ingrained in me. I can never stop thinking about this. So it's November 9th, 1970, and a dead whale washes ashore. This whale did not fall to the bottom of the ocean. This whale washed ashore. And it had been so long since they had ever dealt with this that they kind of didn't know what to do. So it sat around for a few days while they tried to figure it out. And then, of course, it starts to get really stinky.
Ooh.
So people are complaining. So we got to do something here. So they get the... Sorry, I'm going to get through this, I swear. They enlist the help of the Oregon State Highway Division, whose big plan is to take a half a ton of dynamite.
Wait,
blow this.
wait, you have a beach whale and someone's like, help, wait, call highway patrol.
Yeah, what the fuck? What are they gonna do about it? Give it a fucking speeding ticket?
Right? Jesus. Bizarre. Highway roads don't even lead to the beach. Crazy.
The beach and the highway are all the same in Oregon, apparently.
The beach is the ocean's highway, Chris.
Yeah.
So George Thornton was interviewed at the time. He's an engineer, I guess, with the Oregon State Highway Division. Quote,
Oh my God.
I'm confident that it'll work. The only thing is we're not sure just exactly how much explosives it'll take to disintegrate this thing, so the scavengers, seagulls, and crabs and whatnot can clean it up. They're like, this is gonna work, but I just don't know if we have enough dynamite. Like,
how can we get this highway patrol more dynamite?
Exactly. Okay.
I
So
feel
they
like-
settle on...
Sorry, I want those words. I want that quote engraved on this man's tombstone.
Yeah.
I want everyone to know he said this.
So they settle on 20 cases of dynamite to blow up this 45-foot sperm whale.
I feel like I saw this on Super Troopers. I think this is a bit from Super
You might have. It's all on video.
Did you just say we're going to explode this sperm whale?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's okay.
Cue the sex joke from everybody.
Hey.
Okay. So they pack the dynamite on one side of the whale, thinking that everything on the other side will just get blown up into the ocean, right? So
Sure.
we're so confident nothing will go wrong.
They want this to work so badly.
They're treating this explosion like a highway accident. They're like, well, we'll just lead all these guts out to exit 174 and we'll be fine.
Yeah. So they blow up the whale, and everybody's around like watching this take place. All the townspeople are like, what the fuck? And they blow up the whale. It's very exciting. And then quickly, as soon as the celebration starts, it turns to horror because there are just chunks of whale coming down on all of these people who are like a quarter mile away from the blast.
Oh my God.
It actually crushes a car
What?
nearby. Like a piece of dead, flying, dirty whale breaks somebody's car on the Oregon coast.
Highway patrol. Highway
Wait,
patrol.
patrol.
Thank you.
Highway patrol.
Okay. So I'm gonna link to the video of the news coverage because it is the most amazing, incredible bit of film I have ever seen. The reporter, his name is Paul Lindman. He's just like stone-faced for all of it. But
True professional.
he says this, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this sentence. Paul Lindman says, quote, "The blasted blubber beyond all believable bounds."
That man deserves like a Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say it one more time for emphasis. The blasted blubber beyond all believable bounds.
Wow. What
Chris,
now?
Chris, when you
So-
go back to teaching improv, you should use that as the vocal warm-up.
That's right.
I can't even do that now. The blast blubber, I lost it. I don't even
Too
remember.
many words.
What's that called? An alliteration?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like kind of like
Um,
a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then this reporter for K2, Paul Lindman, he says this story just followed him for the rest of his life. Like he couldn't go anywhere without people talking to him about this news coverage.
Well, I would if I fucking saw that guy and be like, guy, what was up with that whale?
What was that like? Why didn't anybody say this is stupid? So I guess despite all this, there are other instances of people using explosives to get rid of dead whales.
Oh no.
But now they set off explosives in the ocean instead of along the beach. Okay, I'm almost done. This story is like just like I think about it weekly, I think. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to the coast of Oregon, period. And the town of Florence calls, like, I can't remember when this was. Oh, 50 years after. So this happened in 1970. So 2020, I guess.
Yeah.
50 years later, the town of Florence names one of their parks Exploding Whale Memorial Park.
Yes.
Good.
We've done whales so dirty in so many different
insane.
ways. Yeah.
It's insane. So basically, whale death can be a really beautiful thing, or it can be a really crazy and stupid thing that's insanely funny.
Yeah, I think we didn't like we as humanity didn't like make use of a death of a whale as well as maybe the ocean did.
Yeah, I'd say 1 for the ocean, 0 for humans on that.
Yeah. The ocean's like, let's make more life and more community. And the State Patrol's like, let's blow it up.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck you.
Tony, get the dynamite.
But like I said, I'm gonna post the link to the video of the news coverage in the show notes. It's like 2.5 minutes long and it is well worth your time. So thank you. That's my story.
Yay. Oh my God. Thank you for bringing that, Katelyn.
Yeah, thank you for your joy.
Thank you for letting me tell a little bit of my state heritage.
Yes, I feel that this is almost, this is a verse in the Bones Bible,
Yeah.
this story. So I guess it's time for me.
That's right.
A little story before my actual story. Like I said earlier, I had the ambition to talk about bone-eating snotflower worms, also known as zombie worms. And they're fascinating and they go back to the Cretaceous period. They're millions of years old, but that's pretty much everything about them. So there wasn't much else to cover. So I decided to bring out of my pocket possibly my favorite instance of corpse stealing.
Yes.
Not grave robbing, corpse stealing.
What's the
There
difference?
is a difference.
Oh, Chris. Oh, Chris.
Okay, grave robbing. Oh, this is me. Just thinking, I watched Garden State last night, and I know I was
Yes.
wondering if it was redeemable. A large portion of that movie is grave robbing.
Is that right?
Yeah, his best friend in the movie is like he like buries people and then steals their shit, and yeah, and so he buries Zach Braff's mom, right? That's why he's back in the Garden State, aka New Jersey, aka the Garden State, and
Yes.
and he's like, so like his best friend steals his mom's jewelry, off screen sells it, we must imagine. Then later in the movie, he's like, Zach Braff, let's go on a trip, like come on a trip with me, and they go on like this like little wild journey in the third act of the movie, all to get his mom's jewelry back from somebody he sold it to, which is such a weird move. Like, oh, here's this necklace I stole from your mom and I sold, but also let me give it back to you.
Yeah, it's been a really long time since I saw that movie. I do not remember that.
Yeah, give it a watch.
Give it a rewatch.
That story does share some themes with this story a little bit. I know music is kind of an integral part of Garden State, and music is kind of an integral part of this, because this is the death of Gram Parsons. the alt country star.
My sources for this story were 2 articles from Wikipedia, an article from wideopencountry.com, an article from the New York Times, and a video on YouTube by Ask a Mortician.
This is a fun, wild journey about friendship and last wishes and honoring a person's death in the right way, ? So Ingram Cecil Connor III was born on November 5th, 1946, and he's professionally known as Gram Parsons and was an American singer, songwriter, guitarist, and pianist. He was a solo artist as well as being part of the International Submarine Band, the Byrds, and what is it called? Something burrito.
Bean. I'm pretty sure it's bean.
Yeah, the word you're looking for is bean burrito, bean and cheese.
No. He was a member of the band The Flying Burrito Brothers.
Oh.
That was my second guess.
So he was born in Florida, and he first developed a passion for music after seeing Elvis Presley perform as a kid, which I think would inspire a lot of people. He really started pursuing his love of country music while he attended Harvard.
Oh, casual.
Very casual. And he formed his first band, the International Submarine Band, which is pretty fun. He later joined the Byrds in 1968 and played a pivotal role in making their seminal album, Sweetheart of the Rodeo. I just like a lot of these album names. He later joined, of course, his band, the Flying Burrito Brothers, and they had a debut album called The Gilded Palace of Sin.
Wow.
Which is like, that's a country album? Okay.
I mean, who goes to Harvard and then gets into country music, the most elite Ivy League school maybe in the world?
It doesn't make sense. Those two things don't go together. Like country music and sin also don't go together to me. Like country music is traditionally like pretty wholesome, right? Like we held hands in a cornfield kind of thing. Like
I mean, but there's also like, and then I shot my brother because he fucked my wife.
Oh yeah, old school country music is incredibly sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a more modern reading. My mistake.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're kind of on the money a little bit because he was responsible, really, like his influence with the Flying Burrito Brothers and the Byrds kind of changed country to a more alternative kind of sound. He was very influential for country and rock and blending the two genres together. He was not super lauded in his time, but he's come to be known as like the father of alt country. But what I wrote here is, this guy sounds great, Sophie, but this is not a music podcast. And I say, you're right. I get that. But like with most people on this podcast, we're not here to talk about his life, unfortunately. We are here to talk about his death.
His whale fall.
His whale fall. During the 1960s, as a member of the Flying Burrito Brothers, he became fascinated with Joshua Tree National Park. And he visited there many times, and he liked to go there to work and record his music. So in 1973, he was prompted by his road manager, Phil Kaufman, remember that guy, to go on a trip to Joshua Tree in September of 1973. He was accompanied by Margaret Fisher, who was his high school girlfriend, who he was dating again, and his assistant, Michael Martin, and his other girlfriend, Dale McElroy.
What's up, playa?
Yeah, so him, his assistant, and his weed-smoking girlfriends all go out to Joshua Tree together.
Oh my God, this is so like this is high school. Can my girlfriend come? Oh, and can my other girlfriend come? Like, what the fuck?
For me, it was like, my fake girlfriend can't come because she's busy with school stuff, and my other fake girlfriend also can't make it because her mom is like total B. No less from an Ingrid Cecil Connor a third. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, right? Like you're a 3-name guy with a third.
He was a 3-name guy. I like that as a euphemism to refer to someone like, well, you know him, he's a 3-name guy. So During the trip, Parsons would often go into the desert to kind of like center himself. And then at night, his whole group would go out to the bars and drink and kind of cause trouble. And they would consume a lot of alcohol and also a lot of barbiturates. So they were doing some harder drugs. On September 18th, Martin, the assistant, drove back to LA to get more weed. And Parsons, the night before, had purchased liquid morphine from an unknown girl who injected it into him and Fisher, which is the high school girlfriend.
Oh.
So Parson then overdosed in room number 1, and Fisher gave Parsons. And so Fisher comes in and finds Parsons passed out. They're all staying at this Joshua Tree Inn, which is like a small motel. And so she finds Parsons passed out on the floor. And what does she do? She takes an ice cube and shoves it up his butt.
Yeah, classic.
What did she think that would accomplish?
Well, it kind of wakes him up a little bit. Like it shocks him.
Okay.
I've heard of this.
Yeah. And then she sticks him in a cold shower, and she goes and she puts him back into his room 8. And then she dips out to go buy some coffee that she thinks will help wake him up. And she leaves other girlfriend, Dale McElroy, in charge of the body. Well, not the body yet, in charge of the guy. So after she leaves, his breathing becomes more labored and irregular. And McElroy attempts resuscitation on him, but it really doesn't work. And then when Fisher comes back, she also attempts it. But unfortunately, they had to call the ambulance, and Parsons was declared dead at High Desert Memorial Hospital at 1:15 on September 19th, 1973. He was only 26 years old.
Oh, no.
Oh, so the ice cube in the butthole didn't work.
It woke him up, but he was fucked. He had done too many drugs.
Drugs is a thing you do in hotels, and what do you have a plentiful of than ice in a hotel? So it's a genius move. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Call the police. I'm sorry.
Call the state patrol or the highway.
Call the highway department.
Get some TNT in here right now. We gotta wake this guy up.
Yeah, we're lucky they didn't stick any dynamite up there.
Yeah. No, I think they're really young, and there's that, I think maybe we've all had that experience, or like being
in the butthole.
No. I mean,
yeah, man.
Your friend is fucked up, and you're like, should I call somebody or not? And yeah, you just don't want to be wrong in that scenario, and they were very wrong.
Yeah. So the San Bernardino County coroner declares Parsons' death like natural causes, which it's an overdose. And they're going to perform an autopsy later. So his 2 weed-smoking girlfriends and manager are freaking out. They don't want to be held responsible for this. So Kaufman drives the weed-smoking girlfriends back to LA, drops them off, and comes back. Meanwhile, Parsons' adopted father, who he really doesn't like, his name is Bob Parsons, he wants to have a quote-unquote proper funeral for Gram in Louisiana. And part of the reason why he wants to do this is he wants to inherit all of his son's money that he's made from his music, and he can't do that unless he's buried in Louisiana for some reason. So his friends know for a fact that this is not what he wants for his death, because earlier that year, the manager Kaufman and Parsons went to Clarence White's funeral. And after Parsons saw his friend being lowered into the ground, he said to Kaufman, quote, "Don't let this happen to me," and explained that he wanted to be cremated and his ashes spread in Joshua Tree.
Okay, yeah.
Sounds like a reasonable request. So his buddies know what they have to do. They need to steal their friend's body from the airport in California before it's flown to Louisiana, which I would do for many of my friends. Yes.
Thus, corpse robbery.
That's corpse robbery. The difference between grave robbing and corpse robbing, we're not buried yet.
Yeah. AKA covering up evidence.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
AKA a crime.
aka a crime. This is where this story becomes the best thing ever. Okay.
Yes.
Here's where the fun begins. Kaufman and Martin, so manager and assistant, go to the Los Angeles International Airport in weed smoking girlfriend number 2's 1953 Cadillac hearse. And they've put on suits. They are fucking hammered, and they are going to impersonate workers of a funeral parlor. So they go to the airport. They claim that Parsons' family had arranged for them to take the body to New Orleans via a chartered flight from a different airport. The cargo manager is looking around and he can't find the transfer requests among his papers. So he assumes it's a last minute change and just releases the body to them.
Gotta love the 70s.
Well, I wrote, this is what you get when you have confidence and you're a white man.
Yeah.
Like, so then Kaufman, the manager, signs the papers as Jeremy Nobody.
Amazing.
They're just signing their work. Like, that's a little cherry on top, really.
Yeah, Steven, who
kiss.
cares?
Yeah, Steven, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, Jacob, I'm white.
Chad, none of your damn business. Okay, so then so Kaufman proceeds to ask a policeman who's parked behind the hearse to move his car so that they can put the casket in the back. The policeman then helps Kaufman and Martin put the casket in the back of the hearse.
Yes.
Wow.
Always ask for help when you need it.
Always ask for help. And Kaufman was really nervous because there was a policeman there and he'd also been drinking. And so when he drove away, he ended up driving into a wall at the airport in front of the policeman.
This isn't sketch.
Yeah.
And they didn't get arrested?
No, the policeman did not suspect them of anything. Not even
It's
of
just
being
like,
fucking drunk.
oh, this poor nervous guy that works with dead people.
Yeah, aw. So they drive him out to the desert, drinking and celebrating the whole time. These guys are fucking hammered. This whole thing, they are on drugs, they are drinking, they are also driving the whole time. So they get to Joshua Tree. Kaufman takes out the casket, puts it out into the desert, opens the top, pours in 5 gallons of gasoline, lights that sucker, and they leave.
They just leave?
Yeah.
They just leave the evidence there? They don't even bury him?
No. This is what they thought he wanted. And on their way back to Los Angeles, so they try to sleep off their drunkenness, but when they wake up, the hearse doesn't start. So Kaufman has to go hike to a mechanic shop, and the hearse starts again after a few repairs. And then they hit the road where they get into a car pileup on the highway, rear-ending another car. So a police officer handcuffs both of them when they open the door and a bunch of beer cans literally fall out. And so the policeman's like, I gotta arrest you guys. And they're like, yeah, okay. And so he cuffs them. And then Martin slips his hand out of the handcuffs when the policeman isn't looking, undoes Kaufman's, and then the two fucking dip. And since the officer didn't take down either of their driver's licenses or the license plate number, they couldn't find them.
I mean, why not? They've gotten away with it so far. Of course, they slip out. Are they magicians? This only makes sense for magicians.
They better be. They're fucking magicians.
They're on their way to Vegas for their show, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So following the body theft being reported, because eventually, it didn't get where it was supposed to go, the casket was sighted by campers who saw it burning in the night. And when they found the body, it had not been thoroughly cremated because it takes an extremely hot and extremely sustained fire to cremate a human being. There was about 35 pounds of him left unburnt.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he had in mind exactly. I think it's better than his dad's plan for Louisiana burial, but I don't think he wanted to just be burning in a field in Joshua Tree.
No, I want to get cremated too, and this is how I picture it. burn my body in the Olympic Peninsula somewhere, open for all to see.
We'll remember that, Chris.
Okay. You're going to be like Daenerys Targaryen emerging from your pyre or something.
Yes. Okay. So Kaufman and Martin were identified from some mugshots, which was fine. So they were identified by these mugshots, and they were each given 30-day sentences and fined $300 for misdemeanor theft and charged $708 for funeral home expenses.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a Sunday.
Yeah. And then so Kaufman threw a benefit party to raise funds to pay his fines, and he called the event, and I will tell you all of these words start with K. Kaufman's Coffin Caper Concert.
This is the alliteration episode.
It is. And he sold bottles of beer with a label that had a figure of Parsons on it, with the label Gram Pilsner, a stiff drink for what ails you.
Nice. Gram Pilsner is his name?
His name is Gram Parsons.
Gram Parsons, okay.
Yeah. To conclude, Parsons' partially burned corpse was eventually buried in Louisiana, unfortunately, at Memorial Lawn Cemetery near New Orleans. And the epitaph on his headstone reads, quote, God's own singer, which is kind of sweet. His stepfather did not end up inheriting his wealth, which was good. He won out in court. And there did end up being a memorial at Joshua Tree after all. It's a concrete slab that reads, Safe at Home, which references a 1968 album by Parsons' International Submarine Band. And thousands of his fans flock there every year to leave things at his memorial and think about his burning corpse in the night.
And today that is called Burning Man.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of creepy because you can stay in the room where he died. You have to make reservations ahead of time, but you can stay in the room where he died. And like one of the only piece of original furniture in there that was like in there when he died was the mirror that, he probably saw himself for the last time in.
I thought you were going to say Ice Cube.
Nah, you know where that went.
Yeah, there's a magical ice cube that's never melted. Just sitting in that room. I'm amazed that this is not a movie yet. It sounds like a movie.
I think they have made, there was a movie with Johnny Knoxville in it. I'm going long, so I edited some stuff out. Where is it?
Jackass.
Oh, yeah. The events were loosely depicted in the 2003 film Grand Theft Parsons, starring Johnny Knoxville.
Oh.
Wow. I haven't heard of that.
No, I hadn't heard of that. But I was thinking throughout, like, this feels like The Hangover. Yes. Or like a National Lampoons, or but
it really happened.
It really, truly happened.
They partially cremated that man.
That's amazing. Y'all, I want to be burned on the Olympic Peninsula. I don't care where, as long as it's not Louisiana.
Yeah, fair.
We will not let anyone take you to Louisiana.
And don't take me there.
Don't take him to Louisiana.
My dead body over there. I will whale fall anywhere but Louisiana.
Fuck those guys. They don't deserve my bones and fats.
I asked my dad if he wants to go to the Big Easy with me, aka New Orleans. And he's just like, I heard there's nothing to do there.
What?
What?
He didn't even say like, oh, that might be fun. He's just like, I heard there's nothing to do there.
I don't think that's true.
It can't be true. I've never been. But I mean, another reason not to go to Louisiana because there's nothing to do there.
Yeah. And you will not be buried there.
And you'll really disappoint your dad, apparently.
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to spend our father-son time anywhere but there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, amazing story, Sophie. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
Thanks for coming on that corpse stealing journey with me.
Oh.
Ingram Cecil Connors III. Okay, I got to remember that.
His music is quite sad. He was a sad man.
Deeply troubled, it sounds like.
Yeah. Like I said, he wasn't really recognized for his like musical innovation until after his death, like a lot of these kind of troubled dudes.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He's younger than all of us when he died.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm 8.
Oh God, get off this show. This is not for children. I've said the F word many times.
I'm 8 and I like dead bones.
Oh gosh, you must be my child.
Is this where I go?
Yes.
Okay.
Jump on in.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
The water's warm. Mine is not a news story or a scientific topic. As you know, my subject is the 1991 classic movie Hook.
God,
Yes.
I love this movie.
Yes. So you know Hook. So
I know Hook. I definitely grew up watching this movie. It has been a few years, but love Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, Dustin Hoffman is a great villain. It's a weird classic.
Sophie, do you feel the same way?
I'm less familiar with it. I have seen the movie and I did enjoy it, but I only saw it the once. So you may have to refresh my memory. I know it's Peter Pan.
You know it's Peter Pan. That's all you really need to know. It's oddly panned by a lot of critics, and a lot of people like feel weird about it. Like I feel like a lot of older people feel weird about it, but like for like late 80s, 90s kids, I think this is like kind of a formative movie.
Yeah.
And I remember this movie for maybe a slightly different reason that I'll get into later. But for all you boneheads out there who haven't seen Hook, let me give first of all, like, why?
What the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing? And like, what, you think you're better than me?
You want to fight me?
I'm wicked smart. Anyways, the byline for Hook, right? IMDb sourced, when Captain James Hook kidnaps his children, comma, an adult Peter Pan must return to Neverland and reclaim his youthful spirit in order to challenge his old enemy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the movie is like, yeah, basically that, right? It's grown up Peter Pan. It's like, what if Peter Pan grew up? And I'll just like give you a couple facts about it and a little funner facts about it. And then we'll talk about why I love this movie. Director, Spielberg, right? First name, Steven, last name, I don't care. Middle name, I don't care. Last name.
Steven Cecil Spielberg the third.
I don't care.
Steven, Illegal Activity, Spielberg the third. So he's directed Jaws, which I haven't seen.
Too scary.
Right, too scary. I'm 8, but I heard it's a banger. E.T., I haven't seen it. But also,
you should see it.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I'm waiting for my next relationship to watch it. But
Okay. Yeah.
is that the saddest thing you've heard? Sometimes.
No, stop. Why?
I want to hear how that's gonna play out. How are you gonna use that?
You guys, I'm single, ready to mingle. But sometimes if I realize I haven't seen a show or like a movie, and I like feel like it's a good like I don't know, like Netflix and chill watch, I'll like make a cue for my next relationship to watch that show, movie, and it's it's just personal. This is quite personal. I've never shared this before.
I'm
What,
sorry.
E.T. is like romantic.
I was gonna say, yeah, you got a dog to E.T.
I've never seen it. I've only seen that sexy alien, and I'm like, what female companion wouldn't want a bone to E.T.?
I think this
There's
is a good
like
plan.
no sex appeal in E.T. I just have to say.
See that like finger that glows? All I know about E.T.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so funny. I'm sorry. We off the rails. Continue.
That line like E.T. bone home, like my favorite line.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Anyways, and then he did like some more serious movies, Spielberg that is, and then he comes out with Hook, which is also a banger, or a bangerang, if you will.
Oh, I will.
It turns out like this movie, as I said, this movie's kind of panned, and turns out like Steven Spielberg also came out later saying that, and I'll quote, "I don't love Hook, but my kids do." I see myself as Steven Spielberg's kid, or his generation. And there's a whole generation of young people who really appreciate this movie on a level far beyond what I put into it. And there's one more other quote that he said that was really interesting. He said, I didn't quite know what I was doing, and I tried to paint over my insecurity with production value. The more insecure I felt about it, the bigger and more colorful the sets became. So for like a kid like me, like I just want to see like big, beautiful sets and like flying boys and girls. And like it just like really stoked the imagination, which I imagine it probably did for other people.
Yeah. Well, it was such an interesting idea, like, and it was a live version of Peter Pan. So, you know, like you knew the story of Peter Pan, but then this movie comes out and you're like, what the fuck? Like Peter Pan's an adult, and the Lost Boys, you can like you can see them. And I don't know, if you really liked Peter Pan like I did, this was really a cool movie.
Yeah, Spielberg loved Peter Pan. He actually in the 50s produced a like shorter version of like Wendy and Peter, which is one of the old stories of Peter Pan when he was a kid. And he like in the 80s, he wanted to make this movie like a more honest Peter Pan adaptation. But in the 80s, he had a son, and then he just didn't feel like a kid anymore. Like he made all these fun, like big, like adult, I'm not adult, but like kid movies. And he was kind of a big kid himself. And then he kind of became the adult. And around that same time, on the other side of the world, this guy named James V. Hart, who is the screenwriter for Hook, was also writing an adaptation for Peter Pan. One day at dinner, like his kid apparently asked his dad, hey, did Peter Pan ever grow up, right? Like the classic thing is Peter Pan never grows up, but what if he did grow up? And he was like, that sparked this new Hook script, which eventually made its way to Spielberg. The script already had a director attached to it, but like he basically kicked off the director. Like the original director got like a six-figure settlement for getting kicked off this movie, which back then is like such big money, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just love the idea of Steven Spielberg. He's now on the project. He's like, oh no. This guy has got to go. I'm sorry. I'm here now. It's okay. I'm here now. Goodbye.
He definitely big brained it, and he like pushed everybody aside, which, you know, if you have that kind of power, like I'm Spielberg, I made E.T. I haven't seen E.T., but I made E.T. I'm gonna do this movie. Anyways, so for a second, let's just talk cast, right?
Oh, please.
A bunch of big hitters. As Katelyn mentioned, Dustin Hoffman, the late great Robin Williams, Julia Roberts,
yes,
Bob Hoskins, who's Roger Rabbit, who's the guy, he's not the rabbit.
Oh,
the guy in Roger Rabbit.
Yes, yeah.
Oh yeah, he plays Shmi, right?
He plays Shmi, yeah.
Yeah.
He also plays Mario from Super Mario World, the movie, where I learned, I was checking IMDb, Mario's name is Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Like his last name, and his brother's name is Luigi Mario. Not a three-name, but still like quite a name.
I feel sad for Luigi that his name is not Luigi, but it makes sense because his brother is Mario. I don't know.
Let me be my own man.
Let me be my own man.
Let Luigi have his own thing.
Yeah, I'm Mario. Let me be my own man. Let me have my name twice. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Bob Hoskins, Maggie Smith plays old Wendy because Peter Pan's grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have like weird sexual tension because
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And also Maggie Smith is like, she looks older in that movie than she does in Harry Potter. Like, I don't know what it is, but she like, you know how she's McGonagall and this grandma character in Hook? Like somehow I don't know, they did her a little dirty in this one.
Yeah, they make her look older in this. They must make her look older. You're so right. She looks hot in Harry Potter, and she still looks great in Hook, but that's like before Harry Potter. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're so spot on, Katelyn.
Thank you.
You say I need to get like pictures and put them side by side.
I will post some pictures of Maggie Smith.
I wasn't gonna say this because I was like, maybe I shouldn't say this, but everybody wants to bone Robin Williams in this movie. Like there's weird sexual tension with Julie Roberts, aka Tinkerbell. Like they make out, and then his wife, he has a wife who is Wendy's daughter, And then he also is like sexy with the old Wendy.
Wait, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't absorb this as a kid. He's married to Wendy's daughter? Wasn't
Yes.
he? Isn't he Wendy's love interest kind of in Peter Pan a little bit?
Okay, so Katelyn, do you want to do this or should I do this?
No, please. This is your thing. Please.
Okay, so basically, Hook is Peter Pan's going to Neverland, returning to England to see Wendy. As Wendy's getting older, Peter Pan's staying the same age, right? One time he comes through like those bay window doors. Maggie Smith turns around and she's, not wet. She's still Wendy, but she's old Wendy. And she's like, Peter, I've grown up. And he's like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
That's exactly what happens.
I don't have like a granny fetish yet, but maybe it will develop. It doesn't develop. In the same breath, he looks over to sleeping new Wendy. Her name is Moira.
That's
Moira,
right.
Myra, I forgot Myra something. I forgot Wendy's last name.
Angela Darling.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Caroline Goodall is the actor that plays Moira.
Yeah.
Anyways, he looks over to Wendy's daughter and he's like, I will give her a kiss. And Wendy's like, no.
Ew.
She's young. And because she doesn't want her daughter to go through the same pain that she's gone through with like some fucking Peter Pan coming in and coming out whenever he wants to.
Literally the Peter Pan coming in and out when he wants to.
I know, right? Just this dog who like leaves home and has no responsibilities and just comes to bone once in a while.
I'm empathizing more and more
kid.
with Maggie Smith. Yeah.
He is a child.
Yeah,
He is it is not a man baby trying to escape his girlfriend. It is a little kid visiting his friend, I think.
I don't know. Peter Pan wields that sword like he's a grown man.
I just want to point out that in this movie, every single character in this movie talks so weird. I don't know if it's the writing or the acting style or something, but I do remember like watching it as an adult and being like, this movie is fucking weird. Like the things they say, I don't know. Am I the only one with that experience?
Caitlin, they're British. They have a
Okay.
Caitlin, they're British.
No, Robin Williams isn't.
Oh yeah. For some reason, Robin Williams is American. That's also crazy. That's also insane.
Yeah.
They live in the US and then they come back to Great Britain and then he's American, but Peter Pan's like non-specific, right? Isn't he British?
Peter Pan is nothing, and like he belongs.
He's from
to
Neverland.
No nationality. I don't know.
Robin Williams, he forgets that he's Peter Pan. That's the whole point. So he's obviously forgotten his accent too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyways, he starts dating Maggie Smith's daughter, and then he eventually forgets Neverland completely and has kids of his own. So he's kind of grown up. And actually, that's why the movie, I believe, is called Hook, because Peter Pan's classic, right? And I'll never grow up. Actually, in this movie, Hook is the one not growing up. Hook is the one living in his past because he's literally like stealing Peter back just to relive his glory days.
Yeah, well, he's kind of the driving force in the movie because he kidnaps Peter Pan's 2 children and brings them back to Neverland as like bait for Peter Pan, right?
Exactly, yeah. So Peter Pan goes to Neverland, like is forced to go to Neverland, like unwillingly to start his like little hero's journey. And Gwyneth Paltrow is also in the movie. Phil Collins plays a role in the movie, like in the air tonight. Phil Collins, he plays like an inspector.
Wow.
Yeah, he plays like an officer for 30 seconds. It's kind of weird. Also, all the Lost Boys have really great names. There's Thud Butt,
Yes.
Toodles, Pockets, Ace. This one I like. Don't
Ace.
Ask.
Don't ask.
Don't ask.
Too Small, which is the small boy.
Oh.
Latch Boy, and then the best, if not maybe the worst, No Nap.
Oh no.
No.
Nap's pretty good. A couple fun facts. This was actually originally supposed to be a musical,
Oh, that's different.
right? Which makes sense because the sets are very, like music.
Theatrical.
Yeah, theatrical, exactly. Some people pan this movie for looking like a Disney set and like looking like kind of fake, but it would make sense if it was supposed to be a musical. It was shot in the same lot as The Wizard of Oz. And it's also had the biggest budget that Spielberg has ever worked with, which is kind of why it looks so crazy. There's animatronic flowers, there's like giant boats, there's like
Wow.
mermaids, there's underwater scenes. Like he really like just poured a lot of money into it because he was so insecure about the second act of the movie, which to him, he thinks it lags. I think it's great. Think the training sequences are great. I think like a lot of the scenes with Dustin Hoffman are amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I think the movie picks up once he gets to Neverland. Like, you're almost like, what am I doing? And then you're in Neverland and the movie's like, yes, it's happening.
A lot of people are like, it takes too long for Robin Williams' comedic genius to become silly and become Pan. Most of the time, he's like a serious lawyer.
But that's the character. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he can be serious. He can do Dead Poet Society.
He can.
He does.
He can. I want him to do a reshoot. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo!
Sorry.
You killed Katelyn.
Yeah. My favorite Ninja Turtle was supposed to be Jack, the son, in that movie.
Oh.
Would have been crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
That would have been really interesting.
Because
that little kid is a brat. Like, you have to be, he was like, God, Dad, I hate you. Like his whole character. But then he's like redeemed because he ends up, spoiler alert, like choosing his dad over Captain Hook. Right. And it's like this triumphant moment. Anyway, sorry. Oh, yeah. That would have been cool to see.
Yeah. I think if he played Jack in that movie, they might have changed his name in Titanic to like Brian or something, because that's like, you can't have two Jacks.
Yeah. And then where would we be?
Yeah.
You know, Leonardo, who played Milton from the Titanic.
I'll never let go, Milton.
Milton, I'll never let go.
Y'all, it's insane. So it's supposed to be a musical, right? It was supposed to be a musical. Rumored that Peter Pan was supposed to be played by Michael Jackson, King of Pop.
Fuck.
Wow, that would have been a different movie.
Yeah.
Shit.
Very movie. Michael Jackson, who like loves Peter Pan so much that he has a compound name, Neverland.
Yeah, honestly, I think they maybe
Oof.
dodged a bullet there, just given
Absolutely.
allegations that have come out later too.
What allegations?
That
I'm
he
just
was.
kidding.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my
I was gonna say my soul exited my body.
I was like, have you heard? We have canceled Michael Jackson, even though he's dead.
I live in a pre-canceled Michael Jackson world.
Oh,
I like
God.
pan my webcam and you see like Michael Jackson posters. I'm in a smooth criminal outfit with like a white suit and a fedora.
Oh yeah, you have that one white sparkly glove I didn't even see.
Yeah, if you Google map my house, it's actually labeled as Neverland.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Last but not least, so the wonderful Julia Roberts, she plays Tinkerbell, right? Tiny little fairy lady. She's actually, at this time, she was actually going through a really, really messy divorce with Kiefer Sutherland, or like get married, but like they were going through crazy separation. Like he was rumored to be sleeping with like some random people, and she was rumored to be sleeping with one of his best friends, and this was like in the news. It's like a big thing during the set or during the shooting of this movie. So she's actually known on the set as Tinker Hell, which is like kind of sad. Like let's be honest, like women haven't got the best end of the stick when it comes to media and being labeled in movies or just like in the industry. She actually like flies away to Ireland with Kiefer Sutherland's best friend during this shoot, and she almost gets cut out from the movie, and she almost gets replaced with either Meg Ryan or Michelle Pfeiffer.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so crazy.
You shouldn't. I mean, seems like she was going through a lot of stuff, but
yeah,
you shouldn't fly off to Ireland in the middle of your job if Ireland's not where your job's at.
Right. A lot of her dialogue was also at the time being rewritten by who plays Princess Leia?
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher. Yeah, so Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood, alt country star,
Yeah.
wrote a lot of her. That's why, like, I think Tinkerbell is such a great awesome, sassy, funny character in that movie, because a lot of her lines were written by Carrie Fisher, who is, you know, OG like female writer in the biz.
Yeah.
Who never really
Well,
got her flowers as a writer.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm trying to figure out how she could have been so hellish on set, because she's tiny. She's a tiny fairy in the movie. So they would have had to film her like in front of a green screen, like by
separate.
herself. So I'm just like trying to figure out how she got such a bad reputation when I would think most of her filming was done like alone, basically.
Also, you know, she's so small.
She's so small.
She's so small.
So small. Tinkerbell's so small. And if she gets mad, you just clap. She'll be in a better mood. I don't know. She flew away. It's probably a communication issue. She flew away. Tinkerbell can fly. Anyways, connections. Okay. It's Boneheads. It's the 5th of the year, the 5th month of the year, aka Asian American Pacific Islander month, right? Which is, I don't know, listeners, I don't know if you can tell, I'm an Asian man, a Korean man, which I get it. Caitlin, Sophie, you invited me on simply for diversity.
No.
You're
so right. You're just so
Yes,
right.
you're
We're not
so
even
right.
friends.
Yeah.
I am never friends with my neighbors. I'm always enemies with them.
It's not that we missed you and we think you're extremely funny.
I get it. Like, Asians are hot right now. So
I mean, you are banging, looking great.
there is an actor gone unsaid so far in this movie who deserves more flowers, right? The one, the only Rufio.
Yes.
Oh, edit that so I say, instead of Rufio, I say Rufio.
Every time.
Every time. Rufio. Oh, you can't say it. Anyways, played by Dante Bosco, right? So for me, this movie did a little bit more, right? The first time you really see, for me, like a cool Asian dude on the big screen, right? There's been like other representation in media, but not in the way that you can always relate to, you know, that also doesn't lean into stereotypes, right?
Yeah.
It
was like, so it's just like really awesome, especially like looking back on it now, like that's such a big character too. Like, he's a big part of that second and third act. He dies in the movie. I know Anything Bones, we love talking about death. Like, he dies in the movie. So
I was wondering how you were going to bring it around to Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have thought pirates and crossbones, but like Rufio, like he is decked out with like a necklace with bones on it.
Yep.
Warrior costume is like, kind of looks like football pads, but like black with bones all across it. It looks amazing. He's got, for all the listeners, he's got like a red triple mohawk.
Yes.
A dark eyeliner. He's got like a leather shiny black leather shirt on that's kind of got like fringes on the side, earrings, black jeans, red tights. This guy just looks like a fucking badass. If you don't know who Dante Bosco is, he's done voices as Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
He's been in American Dragon as Jake Long. He's like the main character in that. He's the guy in Goofy movie who says, talk to me, Stacy."
Incredible.
Yeah. So he looks so fucking cool in this movie, and it means a lot. He looks like a punk rock Lord of the Flies, like leather dad,
yes.
right?
Yes.
I'm gonna keep on going with this. Please interject wherever you want, because this guy like paved the way for a lot of Asian actors. He's still in the business. Back to like relationship stuff and me like making a queue of like things for like my next one and only. I've listened to interviews with him, and he's said that a lot of women have come up to him, and this, you know, they've said that he was his first crush, or he was their first crush, right? And that kind of matters when like your first crush, your first idea of like what is attraction is like a certain type of person, especially if it's a minority or a person who's ethnic minority. And that's like I don't know, for a guy like me, like that's kind of a big thing to see, like a dope dude that you can like kind of look up to in this, in this way. He's also in Peter Pan. Like he's a part of the Peter Pan canon. And like right now, like there's a lot of like Asian-led movies coming out. There's, there's Crazy Rich Asians, like it's fine movie, right? Like
Yeah.
Aquafina's like really hot right now. She's like came out with a great movie called I don't know.
The Dragon, Raya and the Last Dragon.
Right, she's in the Raya and the Last Dragon. She's also in this great A24 movie that I forget, but it's really good. Just Google it.
Is it the one about her character and her grandmother?
Yeah, that's
yes. Farewell.
Yes.
That?
It's Farewell. It's so good. Go watch it. And there's the Kelly Marie Tran who plays Rose in like the second Star Wars movie, the new one. Like she's representing, but it's more than like Peter Pan is like more than just a standalone movie, right? It's like almost mythology. It's storybook. It's like children's, like you read this to your stories, like. And now in the canon of this universe that's existed for 100 years, there's a Filipino dude who wears leather.
Yes.
That's fucking
it's amazing.
Yeah. It's like, and I thought about this the other day. I was like, it's like Winnie the Pooh, it's like British, it's like old. It's like if Christopher Robin had a homie named Dan Nguyen, who like skateboarded and like did like nose grinds on like tree trunks. It's all of a sudden he had a best friend.
Yes. Well, and I love that. And I was gonna say, like, as a when did this movie come out? In the 90s or something? So like you're a 90s kid. I was a little white girl watching this, and everything you see is white princesses, white princes, like all of these, just it's whitewashed. And then suddenly you're seeing like an Asian character who's a leading character, and he's not really good or bad. He's like, he surpasses both of them. I don't know. It was just like, yeah, obviously that went over my head as a little baby white girl, but now I'm like, oh yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's a bad boy for sure.
And ultimately gives his life for Robin Williams. God.
It's so sad. I think I forget his last line, but it's like, oh man, it's basically like, I looked up to you, Pan, or something like that. I forgot.
I'm pretty sure it's like something like, I wish you were my dad or something like that. Like if I had a dad like you, like it's something absolutely devastating.
Oh God.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
That's crushing.
Yeah. He is the third act of that movie.
Yeah. Rufy. Oh.
Sorry, I know it's a fun podcast.
No.
We're always interested in getting, fresh and new and different things. And yeah, that's great. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. You're so passionate about Hook, clearly. So it's just like fun to hear you talk about it. It doesn't have to be all about bones.
Yeah, I love hearing about this. Like I said, I only saw the movie a couple of times when I was little, but Rufio is the part that stands out in my mind the most. His mohawk and his initial entrance.
Yeah, I love Hook. It's facts. I can't deny it. Okay, I figure classic iconic scene from Hook is the food fight scene. And right before the food fight, there's not a lot of dialogue in the food fight scene, but I figure we could do a table read of the food fight scene. I would love to make my dreams come true and play Dante Bosco, aka Zuko, aka Rufio.
Yes,
of course.
Okay.
I want to play Robin Williams.
All right, then I shall be Tinkerbell.
Okay. Sophie, do you also want to do narration or?
Yes, I can do that. The text is kind of fucked up on my screen.
This was actually kind of hard to find. I couldn't find like a.
Oh yeah. Did you have to like type all this?
Yeah, kind of. Like some of the lines were wrong, but I don't know. Did you guys watch this? Did you rewatch this scene?
No, I'm just going in blind.
Okay. The kids part.
I remember it pretty well.
I am ready. I will read narration and Tinkerbell, I guess.
And Lost Boys and Kids.
And Lost Boys and Kids. I'll be everyone else. Okay. Setting. Hangman's Tree, the Neverland hideout where the Lost Boys live. Peter, Rufio, and the Lost Boys sit around a banquet table with a veritable feast before them. Everyone begins to eat, but Peter doesn't see any food, just empty plates and bowls. Eat!
What's the deal? Where's the real food?
If you can't imagine yourself...
Wait, that's your Robin Williams?
Oh.
I love it.
Who could even try to do Robin Williams, motherfucker?
Okay, you're right. I'm wrong. You're right. I'm sorry, Sophie.
What am I, Will Smith in Aladdin? No.
You're right. You got it.
Let me shake it out a little bit. I can be a little more Peter Pan-ish at least.
Okay,
All right,
let's
start over. Jesus.
All right. Let's start from I'm Tinkerbell and I'm going to start now. All right. Eat.
What's the deal? Where's the real food?
If you can't imagine yourself being Peter Pan, you won't be Peter Pan. So eat up.
Eat what? There's nothing here. Gandhi ate more than this.
Don't you remember? This used to be your favorite game.
Forget the games. I want some real food. I want steak. I want eggs. I want a cup of coffee.
You can't. Eat your heart out, you crinkled, wrinkled fat bag.
You are a very ill-mannered young man. You know that?
You're a slug-eating worm.
Come on, you can do better than that.
I can't believe you're encouraging this.
Show me your fastball, dust brain. You paunchy, sag-bottom puke pot.
Bangarang, Rufio.
You're a very poor role model for these kids. You know that? I bet you don't have a 4th grade reading level.
Hemorrhoidal suck navel.
Maybe a 5th grade reading level.
Oil dripping, beef fart sniffing bubble butt.
Someone has a severe caca mouth. You know that?
You're a fart factory. Slug slime, sack of rat guts and cat vomit. Cheesy scab pick, pimple squeezing, finger bandage, week old maggot burger with everything on it and flies on the side.
Substitute chemistry teacher.
Come on, Rufio, hit him back.
Mung tongue.
Math tutor.
Pinhead.
Prison barber.
Mother lover.
Nearsighted gynecologist.
Face camel cake.
In your rear cow derriere.
Lying, crying, spying, prying, ultra pig.
You lewd, crude, rude bag of pre-chewed food, dude.
Bangarang, Peter.
You man, you stupid man.
Rufio, if I'm a maggot burger, why don't you just eat me? You zebra-headed, slime-coated, pimple-farming, paramecium brain munching on your own mucus, suffering from Peter Pan envy.
What's a paramecium brain?
I'll tell you what a paramecium is. That's a paramecium. It's a one-celled critter with no brain that can't fly. Don't mess with me, man. I'm a lawyer.
Banning.
Rufio.
Oh, Rufio, why don't you just go suck on a dead dog's nose?
You're doing it.
Doing what?
Using your imagination, Peter.
And scene.
Amazing.
Oh, we forgot
Epic.
I forgot to add in the part, like, before he says you're doing it, Peter, like, throws food in Rufio's face and sees the imaginary food for the first time.
Yeah, there's a big food fight in this scene. And then there's, like, all kinds of, doesn't it end up being all kinds of, like, colors? It looks like.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
remember. This movie is so colorful. That's the other thing that I feel like I remember specifically.
Yeah, that's the scene where he truly, for the first time, begins to use his imagination, which I read is kind of Peter Pan's biggest secret power. Like, other than, he uses his imagination, and what he imagines his imagination is so strong that what he imagines, it becomes true. Like, he can imagine himself flying, he can imagine himself like eating food. Not only that, but his imagination is so strong that other people also kind of cultishly with the Lost Boys kind of is infected with this imagination, and so food becomes real to him. The reason these Lost Boys are able to use like eggs and paint to defeat adult pirates is because his imagination is so strong that they actually could believe that these eggs would hurt someone. And the pirates believe that they could get hurt by Peter Pan and these boys. You know, his imagination is infectious, which is just wild.
Yeah.
And a beautiful sentiment about the importance of play and imagination, and, you know, even though we're grown up, not losing that sense of childish wonder, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's okay if your childish wonderment is about dead things too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, I gotta ask you, what's your favorite bone?
My favorite bone? It used to be my tibia, my fibia, like too, because they rhyme in a fun way. But I think after listening to the podcast and the theme song, I think glimpse of femur is my new favorite thing to say.
Glimpse of femur is your favorite bone.
Glimpse of femur, not full femur.
No.
Femur, not even like a long stare, just a glimpse of femur is my favorite.
Yes.
Just a quick peep of the old theme.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being on. This was so awesome.
Yeah, this was so fun.
It was good to see you.
I know, it's been my bone pleasure to be here. Y'all.
Do you have anything you want to plug before we say goodbye?
Just your imagination.
Aww.
Don't let that die.
That's so sweet.
Also, like, I don't know, like, find me on Hinge, find me on Tinder. You know?
Yeah, you've got a whole setup for your next relationship. So
Yeah, you could be the one.
Yeah, anybody out there that wants to watch ET for the first time, hit me up.
Phone him.
Phone me.
Bone him.
Phone him. Okay.
Hey. All right.
Well,
Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Make sure to hop over to the Instagram to check out pictures from this episode. Also, our website.
My Instagram is Chris Yoonful. Instagram.com.
Nice. Go
Fuck
follow
yeah.
Chris for more
And all
hook-related
eligible
content.
bachelorettes of Seattle, hit up my boy Chris. All right.
All
Bon
right.
voyage, everybody.
Bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
Nice. All right.
Thanks for listening to Anything Bones. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Anything Bones Podcast, or email us at anythingbonespodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you to Nick Kruger for our spooky music and Stephen Vetteroff
At Chubby Scrubby on Twitter,
for our jazzy vocals, and thank you to Camilla Franklin
at Camilla Strader on Instagram.
for our beautiful bony artwork. Please rate, review, and subscribe.
I will whale fall anywhere but Louisiana.